Welcome everyone to Life Journal Jumpstart. My name is Garrett Mizunaka, and I'm here to walk you through a little bit of the history and context behind the scripture we read every day. Today we got a pretty good sized reading. It's 2 Kings 6 and 7, 2 Chronicles 20, and 1 Timothy 3. Let's jump into 2 Kings first. So 2 Kings 6 and 7, if you remember what happened previously, Elisha was going around doing miracles and with God's power, and we see him really start to be established as the prophet of God to go to. And we're back with Elisha in 2 Kings, and now he's hanging out with Syria after he previously healed a high-ranking man from Syria, and which is a little awkward for Israel because they're kind of not really on good terms. They're kind of in peace, but they don't like each other. So Elisha's hanging out with Syria, but he does warn Israel about what they're going to do and where they're going to be when they start to attack Israel. The army of the Lord is shown before Elisha, and I'm not going to spoil it for you because it's a great story. Basically, there's an incredible army of the Lord. When Israel thinks they got nothing left, the Lord comes and saves them. And basically, now we're at that point where what was Syrian raiding parties into Israel now is escalated into a full-on war. So after this miracle, Syria keeps coming and they won't relent. And so the king of Israel, it's so dark that they get surrounded and besieged, and it gets so bad that people start to eat anything they can find, and there's poverty everywhere. And they end up, having to do gruesome, really crazy things in order to stay alive. And so the king of Israel blames Elisha instead of running to God. He blames Elisha for all his problems and all his issues and how people are dying and suffering. But Elisha prophesies that the siege will lift, and it does. And an amazing application here is, do we run to God, or do we blame God for our problems and our troubles? And I pray that we would run to God first instead of blame him first. So we're going to also go to 2 Chronicles 20, and we jump back over to the southern kingdom, Judah, at this time. And Jehoshaphat is set against by enemies. Everyone's getting attacked. But in this chapter, it's really his entire prayer and rallying cry, bringing Judah back to God, and God delivers Judah. Because Jehoshaphat was a good king who really sought after God. And it's interesting to see the two reactions in the wars. We see someone blame God, blame his people, and we see someone run to God and pray to God. And I pray that we would pray first rather than complain first. And now we're going to jump into 1 Timothy 3. After dealing with the disorganized way of worship and learning and gathering that the church in Ephesus has, and that they have false teachers kind of putting things in there and they don't really know how to act or be at this point, Paul begins to put some rules in place so that the church can get organized and that they kind of have a support system to look up to. And he lists the qualifications for leaders. And so if you hope to lead or you are a leader, pay attention. This is really, really important. Then Paul reveals the whole purpose of this letter to Timothy, which is to show people how to behave as Christians. And he ends with a poem about who Jesus is. And I love that he ends with that poem about who Jesus is, because it really reveals that we behave like Christians because of who Jesus is. It's not for any other reason than because of who Jesus is. And as we read these amazing scriptures today, I pray that this question would be on our hearts and our minds. How will I be different because of what I've read today?